The resurgence of the Taliban is threatening one of Afghanistan's proudest achievements in the post-Taliban era, education. In fact, just recently, Afghan President Hamid Karzai ordered increased security around the country's schools after a string of mysterious acts of violence against schoolgirls. My next guest is all too familiar with this violence. Greg Mortenson has devoted his life to building schools in Pakistan and Afghanistan and remains undeterred to fulfill his commitment despite threats against his own life. And here to talk about his humanitarian effort to promote education and literacy is Greg Mortenson, author of Stones into Schools, Promoting Peace with Books, Not Bombs, in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And Greg, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, Meg. Good to see a fellow Montanan in New York.
Yeah, exactly, right. I went to school there, and you're in Bozeman, a beautiful place, and then you spend most of your time over in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Your new book picks up where 3 Cups of Tea left off, and this time you're focused on this remote northeast section of Afghanistan, and you're building a school at an altitude of 13,000 feet. Not an easy task. How did you accomplish this?
Well, the irony is I've been working in Pakistan and Afghanistan 17 years, and 10 years ago we made a promise to build a school in a very remote area in northeast Afghanistan, and I was never able to get there. I also asked for help from the U.S. military, from the Afghan government, and in the end the people themselves set up their own school. We're helping with the teachers, but they did it themselves. And that's kind of our whole goal, is to empower the people. We've been able to set up 141 schools. We have about 68,000 students, and our focus is on girls' education.
Right, and you truly believe in the ripple effect of educating a young girl, and you call it the girl effect. Why is it so powerful?
Well, I grew up in Africa for 15 years, and I learned a proverb. It says, if we educate a boy, we educate an individual, but if we can educate a girl, we educate a community. Educating girls, it reduces infant mortality, it reduces the population explosion. Also, when girls learn how to read and write, as mothers, they tend to not, when the Taliban, their primary recruiting grounds are illiterate, impoverished society, and educated women generally condone, or they do not allow their sons to join a militant or Taliban group.
And you've been doing this for years, so what is it like to see some of these women graduating from your schools?
Oh, it's amazing. Some of these women, Fozia in Pakistan, she just passed her bar exams. She's from Azad Kashmir, the first female attorney out of 4 million people. Shakila will be graduating from medical school. Women go back into their communities where there's previously been maybe 5 or 40 maternal mortality, women dying during childbirth every year, and when they go back, very few women die from childbirth afterwards, so it has a profound impact.
You have a daughter, and I thought it was really interesting that during this process of writing the second book, she reminded you the need not only to educate, but for these children to play, and how did that have an impact?
Well, in Pakistan, after the earthquake, I came back in 2005 very devastated, and my daughter asked me, do the kids have anywhere to play? And I said, they're mourning, they're suffering, they're orphans, and you're worried about a silly playground. But she insisted that we put playgrounds in all our schools, and we've been able to put girls' schools in quite, say, volatile, remote areas where even the, say, Taliban country, but it's because of the playground. It's very powerful.
And in addition to the playground, you also got 7,000 jump ropes as well?
Skipping ropes, cricket, volleyball, badminton. We also have in our curriculum hygiene, sanitation, nutrition. We also set up vocational centers where they learn sewing, poultry farms, poplar tree plantations, so the school becomes not only just a school, but a place of social entrepreneurship.
And not to embarrass you, but I know that when you're building these schools, you're facing so many obstacles, and I've read that you basically just push yourself beyond comprehension. You go for days without food or sleep, and what is it? What is the driving force that is behind all of that?
Well, I think the real driving force is our staff. The local staff, they feel such an urgency for education, and also that's what the people want the most. So I'm willing to run myself ragged for weeks on end, but it's because of our staff, and mostly it's what the women want. I ask women, how can I help you? And you'd think maybe they'd say, well, I'd like a big house or a good husband, but consistently the women say, we don't want our babies to die, and we want our children to go to school, and that is the greatest success in Afghanistan that few people know about. Is 10 years ago there were 800,000 children in school. mostly boys. This is before 9/11. And today there's 9 million children in school, including 2.8 million females.
Unbelievable. What an accomplishment. Greg Mortenson, thank you so much for spending some time with us and telling us about it. Just really fascinating.
Thank you, Meg.
That's all the time we have for Worldview. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for more news from around the world. I'm Meg Oliver in New York. Thanks for watching.
ABC News Now. Good to know.